This is a presentation of a study that was conducted during the academic year 2023-2024 and entitled An Investigation of a Student's Assessment Engagement Within Higher Education, a case study of General Foundation Program students at University of Buraimi. During this presentation, at the beginning, I'm going to present the background of the study. After that, I'm going to present the research problem statement, then the research scope and questions. After that, I'm going to present the research literature review, the research methodology, the research findings, the research implications of a practice, and I'm going to conclude this presentation by presenting the study limitations. Let's start by the first point, which is the background of the study. Engagement is one of the educational issues that is discussed continuously to raise the quality of learning outcomes achievement. Engagement is the time and energy students devote to do the educational activities. Of course, it's very important because it helps learners to reach the main educational expectations through various cognitive, behavioral, and emotional dimensions. Therefore, the students' functioning, motivation, academic progress, and achievement will be enhanced. According to Ahvaz and Zhu 2023, assessment is the central key to students' engagement in learning. Of course, students' engagement in assessment means a student's role in an assessment. Of course, the past studies showed that it's very important because it positively affects the students' general attainment and self-regulatory skills development. What's the research problem statement? Although the Omani Ministry of Higher Education works hard in order to graduate students who are qualified enough to the needs of the market, graduates show poor academic and professional performance. The past studies show that graduates in Oman are not equipped enough with the necessary knowledge and skills, like thinking skills, soft skills, and problem-solving skills. Azzani 2021 states that although there are many attempts to help Omani learners to have authority over their learning, Omani learners are dependent on their teachers and they are least bothered and responsible for their learning. Ahvaz and Zhu 2023 show that the quality of the achieved learning outcomes depends on the students' engagement in assessment. The literature shows also that there is a strong relationship between students' engagement in educational activities and their learning, retention, and success. Therefore, the main purpose of this study is to investigate the General Foundation Program students' engagement in assessment at University of Buraimi. The current research aims to answer two questions. The first one, at which level of assessment are the GFP students at University of Buraimi engaged in more? Assessment literacy, assessment design, or assessment feedback? The second question is, which aspect of assessment levels, assessment literacy, assessment design, or assessment feedback are they engaged in more? Of course, I have reviewed the past studies, and my study depends on Carlos' 8 framework. And after reviewing the past studies, I have found that there are many studies that focus or in dividing or showing the definition of the assessment engagement. There are many studies that show the engagement in assessment origin, and also there are many studies that try to measure the students' engagement in assessment, and there are many studies that present some tools which could help instructors to measure students' engagement in assessment. Of course, in order to collect data, I have used the assessment engagement scale, which was designed by Ahvaz and Zhu. Of course, I have read it and I have made sure whether it was suitable to the study context or not. And after following the main procedures to make sure that the results that I'm going to collect are valid, I try to get the ethical approval of the research conduction. After that, I try to explain the study purpose to the participant and inform them of their responses, confidentiality and anonymity. I try to get the participants' participation consent. Then I try to distribute the research soft questionnaire to Omani GFP students by emails. Then I try to analyze their responses by using SPSS software version 23. And I have found the following results. For the first question, at which level of assessment are the GFP students at University of Buraimi engaged in more assessment literacy, assessment design, or assessment feedback? Results showed that GFP students at University of Buraimi engage in assessment literacy more than assessment feedback or assessment design, respectively. For question number 2, which aspect of assessment levels, assessment literacy, assessment design, or assessment feedback are they engaged in more? Results show that GFP students at University of Buraimi engage in assessment by understanding the requirements of the discipline, valuing regular opportunities to test their knowledge, understanding the main knowledge and skills in class and online, and having a good understanding of assessment rules and processes more than the rest of assessment levels aspects. What are the implications of the current study? Of course, the first implication is that University of Buraimi GFP students have cognitive engagement more than behavioral or emotional ones. In addition, I have found that GFP students at University of Buraimi have good level of critical thinking skills. They think top-down, they engage in assessment cognitively, therefore they have assessment literacy. They are also engaged in assessment feedback, otherwise they would not have tendency to use their higher thinking skills. In addition, the results of the current study showed that GFP students at University of Buraimi do not engage in assessment to reflect their work. Students do the assessment for certification, not for certification and learning together. This result could further suggest that that the main practice of giving feedback in the GFP is it's based on the result of the assessment, not by giving the students the feed forward. Of course, feed forward means we as instructors should give the students a chance to apply what they have learned in many other activities beside the main activity, just to help them master the main skills that the main task focuses on. The fourth implication of the current study is that GFP learners at University of Buraimi use assessment as a tool of certification, not for certification and learning together. They do not utilize assessment for making meaning, self-control, noticing, or forward thinking. The main research recommendation, the current research recommends all the stakeholders of the educational field to engage learners in the assessment. That could be done by designing assessment not only for certification, but for certification and learning together. There is need to use real-life activities that activate students' soft critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Therefore, we could graduate learners who could produce entrepreneur ideas that meet the local, regional, and international job market needs. Of course, this study could reduce the shortage of the studies that focus on students' engagement in assessment. However, it was unable to answer the following two questions. The first one, what are the effective teachers' self-regulatory approaches to assessment and feedback, and what are the factors that prevent teachers of applying timely and forward-looking feedback to help students reaching the targeted expectations of a course. Thanks a lot for listening, and if you have any questions, you could contact me via email.